Hello, dear students. Good morning. Welcome to your English class. And today we are going to begin a new chapter, chapter number 3 of the book Hornbill, that is Discovering Tut. The saga continues. So, Tut is the name of a king in Egypt, and saga refers to a long and interesting story. So, it's written by A.R. Williams. Let's see what was King Tut's lineage and rule. Tutankhamun, an 18th dynasty pharaoh king. He was there in Egypt, and if we talk about today, it was 3300 years ago. He inherited the throne at a young age, and his rule was short lived. Tut's grandfather, Amenhotep III, ruled 18th dynasty for 40 years. So he was ruling in some 18th century and he ruled for 40 years. After him, after Amenhotep III, there was his son Amenhotep IV. He succeeded him and brought drastic changes. The period of Amenhotep IV was a very disastrous one. You need to do that in detail when we will be reading the text. What did he do? Let's see. Discouraged the worship of Ammon, a major god, and destroyed his images, idols, and temples. So he worshipped other god, and he damaged the images, idols, and temples of the god, which was majorly followed by the people of his dynasty. Declared sun as the reigning deity and prompted the worship of Aten, the sun disk. So instead of Ammon, he wanted everybody to worship Aten. Aten is said to be the sun disk, okay, the reigning deity. And he's changed his name from Ammon in the end to Aten in the end. So he added this word and he became Akhenaten. Moved the religious capital from Thebes to Amarna. Akhenaten, but the real name was Amarna. So he also changed the capital of the dynasty. So you can see these were all major changes. That is why the period of Amenhotep IV is always remembered by everyone in Egypt. Referred as horrific time. So this time is said also to be a horrific one. Akhenaten going a little wacky. So the historians say that Akhenaten got a little wacky, crazy. After Akhenaten's death, a mysterious ruler, Smenkhkare, ruled for a brief period. Finally, Tutankhaten ascended the throne, restored old religious ways, and reigning deity Ammon ruled for 9 years, died unexpectedly, a death knell for his dynasty. And his death was the death for the whole dynasty. After Akhenaten's next successor, Smenkhkare, there was Tutankhaten. He was a very young one. Okay, he ruled for 9 years only and he died. And because he was the only successor, after that no king was there. So this was the death not only of the King Tut but of the whole dynasty. Next is, this was about Tut. Next is about some scientists who were doing these kind of researches on mummy. Howard Carter's work on Tut's mummy. So we have two archaeologists. One is Howard Carter and the second is Zahi Hawass. So first we will know about Howard Carter. How did he work on Tut's mummy? Howard Carter, a British archaeologist, discovered Tut's tomb in 1922. Okay, so this is your helpful for MCQs. Tomb contained jewelry pieces in glittering gold along with articles of everyday use like wine, clothing, board games, etc. Why these mummies are preserved and why these kind of everyday use or expensive things are kept with mummy? Behind this, there is a belief of the Egyptian people. They used to believe that they can keep the body safe in this way by putting some resins on it and by covering it, and they thought that there would be a time when this mummy would come to life and they would get their person back. Moreover, they used to think that there is a world after death, there is a life after death. So for that day, They used to keep all the everyday use things like wine, clothes, games, champagnes, glasses, and expensive jewelries with the mummy. A shroud covered with garlands of spring season plants and flowers like willow, olive leaves, lotus petals, and cornflowers indicated a burial in the month of March or April. So, the kind of flowers found in the mummy were a proof that the mummy was buried in the month of March or April. Next is Tut's mummified body cemented to its gold coffin due to hardening of ritual funerary resins. The problem was that Tut's mummy was impossible to be separated from the coffin because due to resins, the resins were cemented and the Tut's mummy was also cemented with the cover of his coffin. Carter kept Tut's mummy out in the blazing desert sun, heating it to 149 degrees Fahrenheit, but in vain. So Howard wanted to study this mummy. He wanted to do the X-rays and other things, but that was all possible only when the Tut's mummy would be out of the coffin. But because of the cemented resins, it was not possible. So to loosen the resins, Carter kept the mummy in a very blazing desert sun. Carter chiseled beneath the mummy to separate it from the gold base. So he also used this chisel to do that. He separated mummy's head and every major joint to remove the adornments, jewelry he wore, and reassembled the remains in a wooden box to conceal the damage. So definitely he was using chisel with the mummy and the box. So there was some damage, but he tried to hide it. He defends his action. Had he not done so, thieves would have removed the golden ornaments or adornments. So when later found and Howard Carter was questioned why did he do so with the adornments, he said that if the mummy was out of the coffin and it was there, then the adornments had to be taken out from the mummy, otherwise the thieves could have stolen it. Tomb, though ransacked earlier, had its contents still intact. Ransacked, you can say looted. So thieves tried to get some expensive things from tomb, but the contents were still intact, complete. That was done by Howard Carter. Now let's see rediscovering Tut after 3300 years. So there was one more archaeologist who also wanted to study the mummy. It was 3300 years ago. After 3300 years of his death, Zahi Hawass, Secretary General of Egypt's Council of Antiquities, rediscovered Tut's tomb on 5th January 2005. Okay, so he again found the mummy. King Tut means the mummy, not the real King Tut. The mummy leaves his cemetery to be CT scanned. So the mummy was taken out. Now in 2005, you could get the new technology and other things. So Zahi Hawass took the mummy out and it was to be CT scanned. Ominous atmosphere with dark sea and ghostly clouds. So when the body was taken out from the grave for the CT scan, suddenly the atmosphere changed, the sky grew dark, and there were ghostly clouds. And some people used to believe that this is not only because of weather, this is because of the curse. The people used to believe, the superstitious people I should say, used to believe that mummies should not be disturbed, they are sleeping. So Zahi Hawass and his team had disturbed Tut's sleep, so that is why they had to face that weather. Tourists visit the 26 feet underground tomb, traveling at the wall murals in the burial chamber. So when Tut's mummy was taken out, it was kept into a chamber, and the people came to give their tribute, and they also enjoyed the wall murals, the painting manually on walls. So the tourists also came to visit that mummy. So what were the archaeology and its progressive changes? What are the changes now? Earlier, a scientific study of human antiquities only the things of the past were studied. But now, an investigative scientific study of human antiquities. Now, the mummies are also studied. It is changed substantially, completely with time. Less focus on treasures now and more focus on mysteries of life and death. Earlier it was not there, earlier it was only about treasures, but now it is about focusing on mysteries of life and death. Also uses more sophisticated tools and medical technology. Of course, with the passage of time we are getting sophisticated tools and technology. Tut's body was x-rayed in 1968 by anatomy professor, that was Howard Carter. And after 1968, in 2005, he was again taken out. Startling revelation was there at 1968. This is important. Beneath the ritual resin that covered his chest, Tut's breastbone and front ribs missing. So Howard Carter gave this news. Modern archaeology, CT scanning hundreds of X-rays in cross section to create a three-dimensional virtual body, also called diagnostic imaging. So earlier it was only X-ray. Now it is the CT scan. When Howard Carter did this, the X-ray, two questions were still unanswered. How did Tut die? And how old was he at the time of his death? Then what was Egyptian Mummy Project? Began an inventory in 2003 and recorded 600 mummies so far. Scanning the mummies with a portable CT scan machine donated by National Geographic Society and Siemens. So this National Geographic Society and Siemens had donated a portable CT scan machine, and through this they have been scanning the mummies. Tut is the first mummy scanned on 5th January 2005 in less than 3 hours. Okay, this date is again important, and this is also important that Tut was the first mummy to be scanned. King Tut ahead of his countrymen in death as in life. This is very important. When you'll be reading the text, you will know it in detail. It's a 6-mark question. So King Tut became king at a very early age. You can say at only 11 years, 10 to 11 years of age, and he died when he was only 18, 19. So he was the first one to be the king at an early age. Okay, so he was leader of his countrymen. Secondly, his was the first mummy to be scanned, and the rest of the mummies were waiting. So again he was the leader in that too. So he was ahead of his countrymen in death as in life. A minor snag during scan as desert sand entered the cooler fan. So there was a minor disturbance, there was a minor obstacle because the wind was breezing, the wind was flowing so fast that because it was a desert, Egypt, so sand entered the cooler fan and they had to use some fans for that, other fans for that. So finally, the Tut's mummy was scanned head to toe using 1700 digital X-ray images in cross section. And the result of scan, important, is the result of scan studied by specialists in radiology, forensics and anatomy. So these three experts were there to know the details. Zahi was satisfied. There was no issue and relieved after successful scanning. So the scanning was all done and there was nothing wrong, and Zahi Hawass was satisfied and relieved. So this is the overview or the main points of the chapter, and from the next class we'll read it in details. Okay, pre-read the chapter please. Before I start it in videos, you read the chapter yourself. I have told you many a times, it will not only increase your vocabulary, your reading habits, it will also help you to understand it much better. Okay, have a good day.